as Claire stated, the tool is embedded within 3DEXPERIENCE, and this is what we call the create option. So we sit in our 3DEXPERIENCE session, and all of the interaction is available within 3DEXPERIENCE itself. So that allows the user to provide preferences and settings to the publishing process. You can see here that we're embedded within the menu, and we can launch the configuration manager for SpinFire Convert. This configuration manager allows a user to very easily create custom configurations and control the look and feel of the data. So if they want to read PMI, views, captures, or in our case here, select a particular template. So very basic file selector, nice and easy to use. We select our TDP template, and that is available now in our active configuration. We can then also select various other options to control that look and feel. As this is a TDP, we want to attach some files, and we can do that using a complete folder, a whole directory. So the user doesn't have to select multiple files. They can just select an entire directory. Select that directory, press OK, and then just refresh that, and you can see our configuration is available to that user. So we can now start to export that data to our 3D PDF. So again, using the menus, we go to export, and the user just selects the SpinFire Convert option within 3DEXPERIENCE. Again, very familiar menus, very easy for an end user to use. Simply select, give your file name, give your export location, and press OK. And then that data is exported directly from the 3DEXPERIENCE database into our 3D PDF. So you can see here, it's obviously a 3D model available within Adobe Reader. And the template here allows the user to control that data. We can turn the PMI on and off. We can select data and hide it or isolate it. So if we're particularly interested in this aspect of our assembly, we can focus on that model. Quickly reset with a press of a button, and it allows the user to easily navigate through this 3D model, especially if they're not as familiar with 3D CAD data. They can move the data around, and they can cycle through captures or views using a nice to see carousel with thumbnails of those views. Just quickly select. It's a TDP, so obviously file attachments are very important, and they're all self-contained within the document. So the user can select those files, open them straight from the 3D PDF itself. So everything is self-contained, no need for multiple attachments. And as it's a PDF, it can also be password protected if you wanted it to be. Going back to the model itself and interrogating the model, if a user has particular need of a part, they can select it from the parts list. It will automatically zoom and highlight that part. So if they're not familiar, they can quickly access that and any attributes that are associated to it. You can see there. So we've seen how we can use the create functionality, but now we can move on to batch processing. And again, from within 3DEXPERIENCE, we can use DataExchangePLMBatch, which is a 3DEXPERIENCE utility, to process multiple files all at once. If we have to send multiple pieces of data out, or if we want to run this overnight or free up our seat, we can do it this way. So we just simply search and select our files from the 3DEXPERIENCE database, and we can do that using the utility here. We just give it the title, select the object type, and then apply. And that will pull all of the data that we're looking for. And if there are 3DEXPERIENCE users, you may be familiar with this utility, and SpinFire Convert embeds directly into it. Press run, and that will automatically now create all of those 3D PDF files as requested, all within the application, all very straightforward and familiar for 3DEXPERIENCE users. Now, when it comes to further batch processing, we can also run these translations on the command line, and that allows a more dynamic use case where you can set this up in external processes, have it downstream. We use an XML file and a login ticket from 3DEXPERIENCE, and again, it just creates that PDF nice and simply and easily for that user, just to streamline that entire process. As Claire mentioned, the templates are a real value add to this, where you're getting intelligent business documents, where you're giving the user exactly what they need without them having to access a CAD system. So you can see here, we're combining 3D data with 2D data. So we can access the drawing for that, which is still relevant. It's still needed in a lot of applications and for a lot of users. And it's all attached together. With the bill of materials for the manufacturing process, we can highlight exactly what we need for our assembly. And gather all of the information. Now, this information can be automatically populated from the metadata of the CAD itself. So you're not reliant on the user and any manual input errors. Likewise, with the data exchange notice, it's controlled documentation, it gives design context, and you're giving more value to what you're trying to share to the users. They can see the actual data that needs to be exchanged, as well as all of the information. Again, all of this can be populated automatically from the document itself. Interactive documents. It doesn't have to be engineering specific. A marketing document like this can have a fully interactive 3D model within it. It's a real great differentiator. If you can send these type of documents out to customers, potential customers, suppliers, and they get something more interactive. Now, step-by-step instructions is a very important use case, and a PDF can support that again in Adobe Reader. Watch as the user can process step by step. They can view attachments, look at the tools they need for that particular process, and get all of the information they need. Animation data is also very important. So we can see the motion within this data. And normally a user would have to access the CAD system to do this, but we can provide that visibility of the motion directly within the 3D PDF. So again, it enables more access to data for more users. And we can also share that across the enterprise. Request for quotation, give suppliers exactly what they need, give them visibility of what you need a quotation for. All of the information is populated from the CAD and the PLM system, automatically from the metadata. And if you need to meet particular standards, such as a military standard, you can do that with a template. All of it populated, have all of your capture views, all of the part list, all in a compliant template. Very important for sharing data in various environments.